markets might be down today, but there is some encouraging news for the economy with some better than expected growth figures announced this morning. But let's get some reaction to those growth figures. We can go live to Birmingham and speak to Maurice Cassidy, who's Technical Director at Barkley Plastics. Maurice Cassidy, good afternoon to you. Thank you for talking to us. 0.5% growth, we're told today, in the third quarter of this year. Better than a lot of economists had expected. So are you pleased? Are you feeling pretty confident at hearing that?
Yes, I do feel a bit more confidence. It was expected that it may have been lower than before, but 4.5% is encouraging.
Yes, and I mean, I don't know how you feel about this. I was talking to Ed Balls a little bit earlier on, who said that the government needs to loosen its purse strings, spend a little bit to try and get growth going. As we know, on the other hand, George Osborne says he's determined to stick to the deficit reduction plan. What's your view on that? Is the government taking the right steps, do you think?
I think the government should be spending more. I think the government should be spending more to help businesses like ourselves. As Roland said earlier on, regarding the funding for companies, certainly on new developments, new technology, I think that's extremely important.
Yeah, so what kind of help do you want? How could this investment come about, in what form?
Funding, basically funding, to help us. We all have new technologies out there. We have several, but what we like to do is develop those further so we can put them to the marketplace.
Isn't that what banks are for?
Sorry?
Isn't that where banks come in usually, in lending money to help you develop products like that?
Yes, of course we have used banks, but of course the support from the government would be helpful as well.
I don't know how closely you're following what's going on in the Eurozone at the moment. I know you don't export directly to the Eurozone, but some of your customers do, I think. How worried are you about what's going on there and the turmoil that we've seen in recent weeks?
Well, I think the referendum in Greece isn't going to help things. I hope it goes positive, but I don't think it will. What happens after that, I think, could be quite disastrous, certainly to the marketplace. All we see every day now, if you look at the figures, they go down and down and down. Share market, it just seems to be plummeting and going further and further.
What impact could that have on you?
Basically, the same as everybody else who's in industry. It's basically you need orders to be able to survive, to be able to give your employers a workplace. If that starts to die off, it'll go back to recession again.
A lot of people talk about this recovery as being an extremely unusual one. The kind of roller coaster path that we've seen the economy take over the last few years has been unprecedented. How difficult is it to plan decisions in a business when you don't know what's coming next?
It's extremely difficult. You try and plan, you have a forecast, but in the last 2 years we found that our forecasts haven't been the same. They've been very, very close. It's not as high as we'd want.
Well, Maurice Cassidy, we appreciate your time. Thank you very much for talking to us here on Sky News and giving us your views.
Thank you.
If you're watching Sky News, do stay with us. We've got lots coming up, including the sport.